guys, it's some of the cast members from Franny and Zooey, and we'd like to tell you about some of our opinions about the book and about the movie today. Start with Christine.
Okay, so the themes of the book really relate to us and you and like everyone in society, even though it was written a couple years ago, like 50. But so the themes, like one of the main themes, like what this book is all about, is we have to treat everyone equally, and we have to treat them how we would treat Christ if the person was Christ. And it basically says that Christ is in everyone, so you have to treat them like how you treat him. So this really relates to us and me, especially because you don't always like everyone, and this book and God in general is not really saying that you have to like everyone, but you do have to love them. And in this book, it really shows how somebody struggles trying to find like what the meaning of life is. So and that's what we're all trying to figure out. And through this book, it really helps make clear that the meaning of life is to live life how God would want us to live life. And this book really showed that and made it clear to me and all of us, I think. So I really like this book. It definitely had it made you think, and it was like deeper stuff than what is at the surface. So I'm going to pass it over to Gabby.
Hi guys, Gabby here. This is the rabbit. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the writing style used in the book. What J.D. Salinger did was he created like 2 separate novels and then combined it into one, which I thought was pretty interesting. It starts out just talking about Franny and her personal life and what her whole spiel was. And so, I really enjoyed that part. It really let you get to know a little bit about Franny and what she's dealing with and how she's having trouble trying to find her religious identity, and she's trying to face egotism. And, I really liked that part. And then the second portion of the book was about Zooey and then how it relates Franny to Zooey. So, it starts off with a letter written by Buddy, or the reader thinks it's Buddy, but it actually is, I think. I thought that was kind of boring, quite honestly. It gave you a little bit in depth into what the Glass family was like and what their past was. But I thought it just kind of went on a little bit too long. It could have just been a pretty short letter, but just long. But I really liked how it talked about Zooey and how he faced egotism and materialism and how he tried to overcome those things, and then it helped him to help Franny in the end because he experienced it himself. So J.D. Salinger did a really good job using different ways of writing his book. So I'm going to pass it over to Seth.
Hello, how you guys doing today? Well, when my agent gave me a buzz about this, coming into this, I wasn't really sure about this. Playing in movies like Fast and Furious and like Indiana Jones and all that stuff, it was different, and I wasn't sure about this all being two different stories and all. Not much action, like I said, it was in Fast and Furious. I wasn't really sure going into it. No action. It didn't seem like there was a deep plot with it didn't seem like it was a fun role to play, but it really ended up changing me. The deeper meanings, as Christine and Gabby said, about respecting everybody, and all the deeper themes, materialism, egotism, it really hit home because it just makes you really think about the author's intent of J.D. Salinger's intent about what he was trying to write during the Civil Rights Movement, respecting everybody, respecting all races, all genders, everybody. And that really is important. And like I said, it was a fun movie to play in, despite the action, lack of action, and it was really enjoyable. And not many things I can say negatively about it. I guess you could say Bessie was kind of a little annoying during but no, it was a great book, great movie. You should come and see it. Come this summer.
Yeah. So this book might be kind of hard to understand at first, especially if you don't look at the deeper meaning. So we're going to take you guys behind the scenes to make it a little easier for you guys to understand all of this. So hope you enjoy.
In a time when being normal wasn't good enough and people everywhere were questioning their own beliefs, when the views of equality clashed throughout the country, a time where the Beat Generation, a period of attacks on materialism and conformism, dominated the literary scene, and authors everywhere, such as John Cleland Holmes and Jack Kerouac, explored societal norms and religious philosophies. The 1950s and 60s encountered one story that would encompass materialism, egotism, and conformism all in one novel and provide a similar answer to all the looming questions of this generation. This summer, from J.D. Salinger's collection, two intricately woven stories about the two youngest Glass siblings are put together and create a story that will change your views on life forever. Franny and Zooey.
Bessie, caring mother of the Glass family, who receives much criticism and condemnation from the children for her lack of intelligent superiority. She has been scarred by many experiences in life, including two of her children's deaths, Seymour and Walt. Yet she continues to be strong for her kids, rarely showing much weakness. She understands her children very well, and although they often tease her, they actually do love and admire her a lot, which can be seen when Zooey was talking to his mother in the bathroom. Quote, "He turned around and looked at her. In this instance, in precisely the same way that, at one time or another, in one year or another, all his brothers and sisters had turned around and looked at her, not just with objective wonder at the rising of a truth, but with admiration, affection, and not least, gratitude." End quote, 99. Meet Buddy, the second oldest Glass brother who is said to be narrating Zooey's section. He forced religious ideals on Franny and Zooey themselves, and is said to be a reflection of J.D. Salinger himself.
People, they say I'm the narrator, but I don't know where they get that stuff, though. I guess they can say that, but I don't know. Franny, the youngest Glass and an unstable college student struggling with a major identity crisis. She hates the way the world is and how college and life in general are so ego-centered. Yet at the same time, Franny struggles with her inner self and hates how judgmental she is about everything. Although she dislikes how many people act, she blames herself for judging them. This battle between self and society can be seen when Franny is at lunch with Lane and how she constantly feels guilt for hating the way Lane is and the way he acts. For example, Franny notices how content Lane was with being in the right place with an unimpeachably right-looking girl. Franny had seen this momentary little exposure and had taken it for what it was, neither more nor less, but by some old standing arrangement with her psyche. She elected to feel guilty for having seen it, caught it, and sentenced herself to listen to Lane's conversation. End quote, page 11. It can clearly be seen throughout the book that she hates what the world deems to be normal, yet at the same time she hates how she hates all of which is the foundation for what is causing her breakdown. She wants to escape the pains of an uncertainty and find out the true meaning of life. Through Franny, J.D. Salinger is able to represent all the questions and uncertainty of society of that time in one relatable character and help guide the novel into solving Franny's problems, paralleling what society as a whole should do.
Lane, Franny's egotistical boyfriend who is insensitive to her breakdown, only caring about his own success. He represents conformity and materialism. In the story, Lane orders, quote, snails, frog legs, and a salad, end quote, at Sickler's French restaurant, and he gets upset with Franny for ordering a chicken sandwich. This shows how he goes with what is deemed normal in society and does not like to stray from normal. Throughout the meal, he indirectly brags about himself through complaining, and he hardly pays attention to what Franny says. Lane is a prime example of the phoniness of intellectualism and the self-conceit and egotism of human beings, in which Franny wants to alienate herself from.
Zooey, the second to youngest and best-looking Glass brother, who is intelligent, cynical, and seemingly arrogant and rude at the beginning, is uncovered to be a caring, loving brother who helps his sister figure out how to get out of her slump. He faces similar struggles to those of Franny's. He, too, is fighting the battle of egotism. At the beginning of the Zooey section, the readers learn that Zooey is, quote, his face had been just barely saved from too handsomeness, not to say gorgeousness, end quote, 51, and that he had been fighting, quote, a private war against narcissism since he was 7 or 8 years old, end quote, 92, which could be seen as he was shaving, for he tried not to look in the mirror as much as possible. It can be observed that Zooey, like Franny, does not want to be attached to worldly desires and tries to avoid it at all costs. Another similarity between the two siblings is the guilt felt about judging people. While Zooey is talking to Franny, a resentment towards himself and how he treats other people can be picked up when he says, quote, I make everybody feel that he doesn't really want to do any good work, but that he just wants to get work done that will be thought good by everyone he knows. That's what I do. That's the worst I do. End quote, 138. Zooey plays a crucial role in conveying the meaning of the book, and his inner struggle and solution exemplify the purpose of life. A story where food isn't just food, and sweat isn't just sweat. The food represented anti-materialism. At Sicker's French restaurant, Lane orders a sophisticated French dish, while Franny, on the other hand, orders a chicken sandwich and milk. Not only does she order a simple meal, but she barely even touches it, representing how she wants to get away from the social norms and detach herself from material goods. Also, the sweat on Zooey's face, as he and Franny have a heated discussion, represents how he, too, is struggling to find his inner self, and he and Franny are facing similar struggles.
Where painters and beauty are more than they seem. Bessie has hired painters to repaint the entire house, yet she finds it hard to get the painters to the living room where Franny has been occupying for the whole entire time. This struggle to change the house parallels Franny's struggle to change herself within.
Not telling me one thing I haven't thought of myself. Like, you make me so mad. What do you think I'm doing here in this crazy room? Don't you think I have sense enough to worry about my motives for saying the prayer? I want to talk to Seymour.
Also, beauty is looked at a different way. True beauty, according to Franny, is when you are able to let go of your ego and focus on the work, rather than focusing on how it affects you.
Where a fat lady isn't just a fat lady. The fat lady represents Christ.
Listen to me. Listen. Listen to me. Listen to me. No, listen. Are you listening? Now, don't you know who the fat lady really is? Buddy. It's Christ himself. Christ himself, buddy. The fat lady is Christ himself, buddy. You gotta learn that, buddy. You gotta learn that.
Seymour, the eldest Glass brother, always told the younger siblings to do everything for the fat lady, representing how, since Christ is in everything, we should always respect everybody, even the people we don't like, and do everything to our best potential.
I'm J.D. Salinger. I decided to write this book in third person, omniscient, and kind of limited. It is implied that the Buddy Glass is the narrator, and since the Glass family is filled with amazing intellectuals and uniqueness, it is only fitting that the only person to really understand the family is a Glass himself. Although he narrates from the omniscient point of view, Buddy cannot and chooses not to go into much detail about his inner feelings of the characters, but derives the story more off of the emotions conveyed by the physical features and responses of the character. Given the story a different approach than most, at first I had written Franny and Zooey as two separate works. Franny, a short story, and Zooey, a novella. Okay. But I found it fitting to combine the two works together. Franny gives more background knowledge and introduces the conflict that Zooey then elaborates on. Also, the two books combined show Franny's slow conversion towards happiness. At the end of the Franny section, Franny lay quite still looking at the ceiling. Her lips began to move, forming soundless words, and they continued to move. 44. While at the end of the Zooey section, Franny, for some minutes, Before she fell into a deep dreamless sleep, she lay quiet, smiling at the ceiling. 202. This shows how Franny either has finally mastered for Jesus' prayer and doesn't have to say it anymore to get happiness, or it shows that she has realized that Jesus' prayer wasn't the answer to the meaning of life, but rather it was about something more. These two stories combined create a book that will definitely make you rethink about your priorities in life. So hey, you should go see this movie. And I'm J.D. Salinger, and I approve this message.
This story shows that the meaning of life is not to have a lot of personal successes and accomplishments, but is about loving one another, even loving the people who we don't like. You don't have to like everyone, but you have to love everyone, and that is the purpose of life.
Coming to theaters this summer. You'll have to see it to believe it.
Bubble.
Okay, ready?
Here we go, here we go.
1, 2, 3. We can cut. Well, this is gonna happen. No.
And that is Hairstyling with Bessie and Franny.
Fresh. Math.